I'm Yuichi Ochi, aka Ochify, a veteran guy with about 20 years of experience mostly in the business side of the game industry, and I'll be sharing my insights based on industry news and things I've seen and heard. In this upcoming era, rather than just knowing information, having your own perspective to view the world is what's important. This is a show aiming to provide better insights for everyone involved in business. That being said, talking only about stiff topics gets tiring, and since my friends call me the king of East Asian B-grade gourmet, I'd like to chat about some food recommendations as well. Today is the evening of March 4th, 2026, and I'm recording this from my rented office in Shibuya. Last week, we welcomed the very first guest of this show, Mr. Katsuaki Tsuji from viviON Incorporated, and we'll dive deep into a very unique service he manages called Minna de Honyaku. They don't support games right now, but I felt it's a fascinating, user-driven content service perfect for the times ahead.
Game business topic.
Our very first guest since the Ochify the Game Business podcast began. The reason I invited him is that he was the first person to tell me you should invite me as a guest. Well, I finally made it happen. Please welcome Mr. Katsuaki Tsuji, Senior Manager of the Overseas Business Department at viviON Inc.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come today specifically for this podcast. Tsuji-san and I actually met about 10 years ago when we were both living in Taiwan. We were doing different jobs back then, but we used to run into each other at drinking parties a lot. We made quite a few mutual friends along the way. A lot has happened since then, and now you're at viviON. I think people overseas might not be too familiar with viviON, so could you briefly explain what kind of company it is?
Sure, viviON Inc. is an entertainment company that handles a wide variety of 2D content. As for our parent company, we are actually a 100% subsidiary of GEO Holdings.
Recently, they're known for the second-hand clothing store Second Street. They had those in Taiwan too, right?
Exactly. That is also run by GEO Holdings, so we're a group company under them. Our company operates an e-commerce platform on the web where we sell 2D content like anime, games, and manga, especially works created by independent individuals. That site is called DLsite.
That's famous. When you mention DLsite, people often go, "Oh, you guys run DLsite."
Yes. The site DLsite is operated by a company called EISIS, and we are their parent company, viviON. While EISIS mainly focuses on doujin indie content, viviON handles a broader range of 2D content beyond just doujin works.
From the perspective of the game industry, GEO is a massive wholesale distributor, and since I'm in the position of selling games as a publisher, GEO is a company we pay very close attention to. Within viviON, the project you're working on is called Minna de Honyaku, translate together, right?
Yes, Minna de Honyaku is a service that has been running for about 3 or 4 years now, and it's growing incredibly fast. Simply put, it's a translation community service that connects translators with original creators.
So first, you have creators who draw doujin manga. Then you have tons of people overseas who want to read it. Normally, you'd hire a professional translation agency, but the idea is to have fans with translation skills do it instead, right?
That's exactly right. DLsite has been around since the dawn of the internet in 1996, so we host over 2 million works. and we have about 152,000 creators.
Out of those 152,000, what's the ratio between Japanese and non-Japanese creators?
For creators, I'd say about 80% to 90% are from Japan. But here is where it gets interesting. Japanese content draws a massive amount of attention from overseas. In fact, recently, about half of the new users registering on DLsite are from overseas.
Is the majority from Asia?
Yes, the Greater China region and the US make up the largest volume. But surprisingly, South Korea also brings in a huge number of registrations and purchases relative to its population, and their passion is just incredible.
I see. Otaku are definitely multiplying all over the world.
To meet these ever-growing demands from overseas users, we initially tried our best to translate each work one by one ourselves. But with that many works and an insane number of new ones registered every month, we just couldn't keep up.
How many titles do you get per month?
Altogether, it easily exceeds 20,000 to 30,000 works. While we were taking time to release official translations, pirated versions were popping up on piracy sites. It was a very frustrating experience for us. So we conducted a survey to ask those doing fan translations why they were doing it, and it turned out many were just pure fans. They had this burning passion like, I love this work so much, but there's no official translation, so I'm doing my best to translate it myself.
I definitely understand that feeling.
But we realized that wasn't a happy situation for anyone. We thought, couldn't we channel their desire to share the works with the world into a more positive direction while involving them? That's how the Minna de Honyaku service was born. As long as the creator gives permission on our platform to allow translations, translators can easily work right in their browsers. When the translated work sells, the revenue is shared between the original creator and the translator.
That sounds like a very internet company thing to do. How does it usually work? Do translators say, I want to do this? Or do creators say, please translate this?
We have the original creators choose the translation revenue share rate. They decide how the money they earn after our platform fee is deducted should be split. The ones willing to pay the most say, I'll give the translator 80% of what I earn.
80%. That's amazing.
People have different perspectives. Some set it to 80% thinking, the Chinese version sold well because the translator brought it to new readers. Others choose a 50-50 split, while some believe the original work comes first and set it to 20/80, meaning 20% for the translator. On the flip side, translators can also choose a setting that says, I don't need a translation fee for this work.
I love that it doesn't feel overly corporate or purely business-driven. You're using technology to solve and support the creative passion and feelings of otaku. It's a two-way street between users and creators, and I feel like it's a highly ideal ecosystem for content moving forward.
The translators themselves are fans and act as a kind of influencer. They actively promote it on social media, saying, I translated this. Recently, we've even seen cases where the Korean version outsells the original Japanese release.
Wow, that's incredible. By the way, is it 13 languages right now? Japanese, English, traditional and simplified Chinese, Korean. Then figs, French, Italian, German, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Yes, we have Portuguese.
After that was Swedish, right? Then Thai, Vietnamese, and Indonesian Bahasa. That makes 13.
You remember them all. That's impressive. Normally, when you think of translation, it stops around English, Chinese, and Korean. But since it's a service where fans translate, we figured any country with fans of Japanese content should be included.
That makes sense. Game localization is expanding similarly. Nowadays, we regularly do 15 or 16 languages. Also, I found the translation of ASMR really interesting. ASMR is a medium centered around spoken voice, right? So you keep the Japanese audio but provide text-based subtitle translations.
Exactly. ASMR is one of the major formats in doujin content. It is exceptionally popular in the Greater China region. At first, we thought dubbing would fit the format better, so we started by selling dubbed versions. But the sales didn't grow as much as we expected.
I see.
Then, when we added a subtitled version to the exact same works, they sold quite well. We create subtitle data so that users can read the subtitles while listening to the audio, which is how we handle translation for audio content.
What kind of content is common? I imagine mostly whispering.
In the very beginning, it started with things like ear cleaning, like I'm going to start with your right ear now. However, the ASMR world is expanding so much right now that it has evolved from just ear cleaning to fully immersive experiences. For example, ASMR of counting sheep is super popular right now.
One sheep, two sheep. True, for something like that, a Chinese dubbed version feels like it would work better. Still, the idea of subtitled audio content is brilliant. You don't normally think of that.
Right? Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that there are huge fans of these indie voice actors. They don't just want to experience ear cleaning generally. They want to savor the specific expressions and nuances of that voice actor while understanding it in their own language.
Man, you can really feel the boundless possibilities of human sensibility. It's so fascinating. We've talked a lot, but is there anything you want to mention as a final note? Like, could you give us some reality on how much this is actually selling?
Minna de Honyaku launched in November 2021. From then up to now, the sales from just the translated versions alone amount to 370 million yen. It's consistently selling at a pace of over 100 million yen a year.
Once you build the website mechanics, it operates somewhat like a passive income business model, doesn't it?
However, the real reason this service took off so well is because of our direct agreements and trust with the creators holding those 150,000 accounts. That's why they felt comfortable giving us permission to translate. We designed this by deeply considering what creators might be anxious about or what they might dislike. We don't force a flat revenue share rate. They can set it freely. They can even specify on a per work basis. I only allow German translation for this one.
In a typical company, it usually just devolves into do it because it makes money.
To honor the translators who said in our survey, I'm not doing this for money, we made it possible for translators to choose I don't need a translation fee for this work. In that case, 100% of the revenue from the translated version goes to the original creator. It's not overly commercialized, so to speak.
That is ideal, and it turns out that way precisely because it aligns with your company's purpose. I really got the impression that your company is exceptionally sincere toward both creative endeavors and human beings.
Thank you. Moving forward, we are currently exploring whether we can apply this system to translate game titles as well.
Oh, that's exciting. The text volume can be massive, sometimes hitting 1 million characters depending on the game.
Exactly, because it's generally too difficult for a single translator to handle. We are working hard right now to figure out how to translate them together with everyone.
I hope you keep creating more and more interesting things and doing things that make otaku around the world happy. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you very much.
Bullshify the Game Business Podcast.
It's time for the Gourmet Corner. I go to Tsukiji with my family, not all the time, but probably about once every 3 months. What do we go there for? Well, most of my favorite eateries are gone now, so we mainly just go shopping, but we specifically go to buy seaweed, nori. The seaweed from a store called Maruyama Nori is just insanely delicious. I go there because I feel like I only want to eat their seaweed. And in one corner of that area, there's my favorite eel restaurant called Haibara. I think there are two locations in Tsukiji. One is a dine-in spot, and the other is exclusively for takeout. And recently, I got some takeout from there. You really have to go there in the morning, or they sell out. The takeout shop for Haibara is on the main street, so it's not too hard to find, but you do have to get there early. I took it home and warmed it up a bit before eating, and for takeout, the quality was quite extraordinary. It was fluffy with those nice, slightly charred bits typical of grilled fish. If you want to eat delicious eel, this is exactly it. Definitely check out Haibara for eel when you visit Tsukiji. It's time for the ending. Please send me your thoughts. I'm on X, formerly Twitter, under Yuichi Ochi. If you have any feedback like, that's incorrect, or, hey, I have a bone to pick with you, please don't hesitate to point it out. I'm also taking requests for topics you'd like me to cover. I'd love to invite another guest soon, too. I'll negotiate that. Maybe I'll do the next episode around late March. Next week, from the day I'm recording this, is GDC in San Francisco, but I decided not to go this year. Oh, but wait, I am going to South Korea in March. Maybe I can talk about that next time. If I pick up any good stories, I'll talk about them. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Stay insightful.